Hello everyone, hope you all are doing good. I'm also doing great. So I'm back with another video now, this time very unusual. You will see some zombies on my laptop screen. Okay, so let me clarify. Basically, I'm a tech enthusiast since my childhood, and I thought why not to share my experience with all of you, and that is why I'm creating this series. So I'll create many videos from today and I will upload them together with our vlogs where we show you different places. If you like this topic, please subscribe to our channel and follow this playlist. So this first video is going to be about a very common problem that we all face, and this is around the laptops and desktops, specifically for laptops. Though we are going to talk about a lot of different subjects in the series like various tech, new gadgets, gaming, etc., we'll start with this common problem. And it's actually about the overheating systems. So, to be very honest, you all must admit that at one point or another we have faced overheating systems. And sometimes we know, sometimes we don't know, we overlook it. But trust me that it's not a good thing to have on your laptop, especially. Not on the desktops. Desktops are good at dissipation because they are very large, they have large fans, etc. But specifically on laptops, you have to be extra careful about the temperatures. So I wanted to talk about how do you control those temperatures, and I have some very specific measures that you can take in order to reduce the temperatures, and I can guarantee you that if you follow all of these steps, you will be able to reduce the temperatures of your system drastically. And this is going to greatly help you if you are maybe using your laptop for gaming or maybe high-end applications. Your laptop will never melt or maybe become a toaster one day. So to start off, there are some basic things that you can do to keep your laptop cool. Some of these things are very common and well understood. Like, you have to keep your laptop clean, which is important. You can clean all the open vents regularly, use your laptop in a dust-free environment. But in addition to that, you can use some additional accessories, like use a cooling pad on your laptop, and it can help you to greatly dissipate the heat that gets generated from your system and to uniformly heat up your laptop. Just ensure that you buy a cooling pad which is well suited to your laptop's ventilation and the overall design. If you want more information on the cooling pads, do put it in the comment section, and I will create another video on which cooling pad to choose for your laptop. So with the cooling pad, you also get a benefit that your laptop is going to be on a hard surface, which is very important. You would never want to use your laptop on soft surfaces like beds or couches. Though the laptops are meant to be portable, I would not recommend you at all to use laptops on soft surfaces, as you are going to most likely block all the vents. The hot air is not going to go out of your laptop, and ultimately you are only going to heat up your laptop much more faster. So try to avoid this whenever you can. In fact, most of the times. Use your laptop on a flat surface, which at least allows a bare minimum of space to let the air move out of the system. So these were some hardware measures or physical measures that you can actually take to keep your laptop cool. But then you have some software side measures also to at a beginner level that you can take, which is keeping your laptop processes and applications limited when you are using any high-end or resource intensive application like maybe gaming or maybe a designing application or graphics editing tools, etc. So you can close these applications, you can kill these processes or applications through the use of Task Manager. You can actually open the Task Manager by using Control Shift and Escape shortcut keys, pressing all of these keys together, or right mouse button on the taskbar and then select the Task Manager. Inside Task Manager, you have lots of options. You can actually use a performance tab to view all the statistics of your system and monitor if there is a certain physical aspect of your system, or maybe hardware aspect of your system, that's overburdened. And through this you can actually realize if your system is actually overloaded or not. You can kill the processes from here. You can control the startup applications, which are basically the apps that boot up once you start your system. So sometimes you may notice that your system takes a lot of time to turn on, but that is directly dependent on generally on the number of applications that you have on the boot. So you can control those from the task manager. I can create a more detailed video on how you can use task manager in a more efficient way. Let me know in the comment section as well. With that, you would always want to check if your system is infected with a malware or a virus. So having a virus or a malware is the last thing that you would want to have on your system, and trust me, it gets a lot worse than you actually think it is going to be. So it infects your files, it creates a lot of problems, but importantly for our subject, it creates some unnecessary processes that do not help you, but rather affect your system's performance, and they also tend to heat up your system, but you may not be aware. So always use a good antivirus and anti-malware tool to check for your system regularly, for these unwanted and external agents. And if all of these things look good, so you are basically good to go ahead with some basic things. But there are even more specific and very helpful things that you can do, and these measures can be done to reduce the temperatures even beyond what you would have actually achieved using these points. But before I get into those points, I wanted to quickly give a disclaimer that these following these points without any understanding or knowledge of these may damage your system. Don't be afraid. I have actually followed these points on my system. My laptop is an Acer Nitro 5 with an AMD Ryzen 7 processor and an NVIDIA RTX GPU 3060 series GPU with 16 gigabytes of RAM and SSD. So if your system is close to this configuration, you can certainly use this, but you don't really need to be worried because the points that I'm going to share are very general. While you do this, you would always want to ensure that you are not voiding the laptop warranty. So one of this point actually requires opening your laptop. Wait. I'm not saying that you need to, do a complete post-mortem of your laptop. You don't need to throw away the components all around you and then assemble them together. Not like that. You just need to open the laptop in a specific way so that you are able to clean the laptop properly and do a certain procedure that will help control the temperature and lower down the temperature. So make sure that you are not voiding the warranty. That's all I wanted to add here. So let's start by getting into these points. So first and foremost is controlling the processor power management. So processor power management is very important, and this is going to directly affect your CPU temperature. You control the processor power by going to the control panel, choosing hardware and sound, going to power options, selecting change plan settings on the current active plan, and finally selecting the change advanced power settings option. Once you do that, you will get a dialog box, power options, where you can control the processor power. In this section, you have access to typically two things. One is minimum processor state and the other is maximum processor state. You would want to set both of them to the values that I have specified here. Minimum should be 0%, maximum should be 99%. This will allow you to limit the processor state and the power that it consumes to 99%, not beyond that. So you are never going to use 100% of what your processor offers. So that's okay. Alright, we are sacrificing 1%. It's going to help you a lot on the temperature side. But there's another option called processor performance boost mode. So this is typically called turbo boost mode that the manufacturers offer with your processor. You will see this term quoted at different places like turbo boost. Let's say your processor is working at 3.2 gigahertz or supporting 3.2 gigahertz, you will see that it may support turbo boost, let's say up to 4 gigahertz or 4.5 gigahertz, whatever. But then it is not always a good idea to use this boost mode on your laptop. Though manufacturers design these systems, I would not really recommend you using this, because it increases the laptop temperature, because your laptop is burdened. It's actually working at the top of its performance level and at the peak. So why to do it unless you really want to use these resources? You can keep it as it is, but then generally you will not really require in most of the cases. So to actually see this option, first of all, before you even disable it, you have to make it visible, and you do this through the registry editor. So registry editor is a native Windows based application that helps you control various things within your operating system. And to access registry editor, you can simply search for registry editor within your start menu, or you can go to the run command and type regedit.exe. So once you type regedit.exe and select OK, you will come to this application. Note down this path. I will also link it in the description. You need to go to this path by navigating in the structure in the tree, and then select this last folder here. It should be exactly the same, most likely, and in the attributes field, you need to double click and enter a value of 0. Don't change anything, do not delete anything, just enter 0 and click OK. That's all you would want to do. You don't need to save anything, it automatically gets saved. But if you are worried while making this change, because this is something that most of us don't really get into on a day-to-day basis, you can always go to file and then export your registries before you even start making this change. So this will help you to take quick backup of your Windows registry, and in certain rare case that you maybe accidentally delete something or maybe modify something and you really do not recall what you just did, you can always recall the previous settings and import from the backup. Once this is done, you can go to control panel, and as you saw earlier, you will see this option and you can disable the performance boost mode. So this was one thing that you can achieve very easily, and it will help you to control your CPU temperatures. Now the next thing is undervolting the CPU and GPU. So we control the processor power, but you can further limit the CPU use by undervolting your CPU, and then you can also undervolt your GPU. If you are working on applications which utilize a lot of GPU resources along with CPU, which can be the case in gaming. There are many games, most of the games use CPU resources, and many of them which are graphically intensive use GPU as well. So if you notice your GPU temperature spiking up along with CPU, you may want to consider undervolting both of them. So the process varies depending on whether you have an Intel CPU or an AMD based CPU. Because I have an AMD CPU, I am using this application called Ryzen Controller. You can download it for free. Just give it a quick search. You can download it from any reliable software platform like Softpedia here. And Ryzen Controller is not certified by AMD, just to let you all know. But then it's a well developed application used by a lot of AMD users, because AMD processors do not provide you with an option to overclock or underclock or undervolt your CPU. In other words, Ryzen Controller is the only option, I would say, and is the easiest one out there as well. You don't need to work with too many things. Once you install Ryzen Controller, all you have to do is just launch the Ryzen Controller application, and under GPU tab, turn on the temperature limits option and set the temperature to something which you would typically want to achieve. So how do you figure this out? Basically, you would want to monitor the CPU and GPU temperatures to be able to know if you're really hitting certain marks and you would want to reduce the temperature. So for me, I was hitting 90-91 degrees at a very high-end gaming. So I wanted to at least keep my temperatures lower by 10 degrees. So I thought 82 degrees would be a good idea. But at the same time, you can keep it 80 or 85 also if your system can handle the application and keep it cool, and also not throttle whatever you will. And once you set this, you may want to turn this option, launch a Ryzen controller on computer start, because this application will automatically start on each boot, and then ultimately you will have this temperature limit set by default every time you turn on your system. So then click on apply and you're good to go. So you will never go beyond 82 degree no matter lower. So for GPU, I would suggest MSI Afterburner. This is a well-known application across the industry for working with the GPUs and overclocking or underclocking, undervolting them. So this is slightly in detail and provides you a lot of more options, unlike Ryzen controller, because it's a very specifically designed and developed for GPUs. So you have a lot of controls here with the MSI Afterburner. So with MSI Afterburner, you can control things like your clock, your core clock, memory clock, voltage, etc. But for beginners, if you are just exploring and you just want to keep the temperatures low, I would suggest that you only fiddle with the clock. And to be able to change these values, first of all, you need to turn both of these options. One is unlock voltage control and the other is unlock voltage monitoring. Turn both of them on and click OK. Once you do that, you can select curve editor. So in the curve editor, you need to take the core clock all the way to the left and then change the point on the 750 mark all the way up to around 1550. Once you do it, you select apply and your graph settings will basically adjust automatically, and you will have a undervolted GPU that will be much cooler. And you can save this profile. And if you want me to create a detailed video because it needs a lot of information, you can let me know in the comments and I will create a more detailed video on the MSI Afterburner. And finally, for Intel users who have Intel CPUs, you can use throttlestop. It's another application. Because I don't have an Intel CPU, I really can't get into this application and show how it works. But then if you need more information on it, I will definitely get it for you, just to help the Intel users. Let me know in the comments as well. So that was about underclocking your CPU and GPU, undervolting your CPU and GPU. And the last thing that you can do if none of this works is deep cleaning your laptop and applying the thermal paste again. So you would have understood what is probably cleaning your laptop, or maybe deep cleaning per se. That is, you are going to open the laptop from the back panel, from the panel under the laptop, and get into the nitty-gritties of the components like fan and cooling system, and basically blow off all the dust. While you do this and while you open your laptop, it's a good idea, especially after a long period like a year or two or maybe more, depends on your usage, that you reapply the thermal paste. So applying the thermal paste again on your laptop requires a certain procedure to be followed, and you need to be wary of what thermal paste would typically fit well, whether it needs a thermal pad or not. So all of these things need to be kept in mind. For me, for Acer Nitro 5, I used a thermal paste from Noxua and I ordered it from Amazon. And you can use anything on the similar lines. You don't need to use this precisely, but then any well-known brand which provides decent cooling capabilities, thermal capabilities, you can use it. For opening your laptop, you can use any decent electronics repair or screwdriver set. And for cleaning the existing thermal paste, you can use an isopropyl alcohol with a certain consistency, typically 70%, and you can find these alcohols, isopropyl alcohols, on Amazon as well. So like I said, each laptop has a different way of opening and repasting. So if you have any questions around your laptop and you need any help, please let me know in the comments, and I will be more than happy to help you in those cases, and to the best of my ability if I can. With that said, all of these steps should certainly help you in lowering the temperatures, but please be very careful while you follow these A, B, and C steps, and ensure that you read all the instruction manuals carefully. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments, and I will try my best to help you wherever I can. And with that, I will end the video today. Hope you liked it, and hope it helps you to keep your laptop temperature cooler. I'll create more such videos which will help you in the tech. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, and please don't forget to subscribe as well. It will greatly help me in the long run and keep me motivated, and all of us who are involved in the video. And thanks again for giving your time. Thank you very much.